We are going to go ahead and start. Thank you all for taking time out of your Thursday to be on. I was saying earlier, for those of you who didn't hear me, I was telling Barbara I had a plan to talk about convention and awards for this meeting, but then my day kind of went off kilter and legislation took priority. So I'm going to touch on that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone so there's not so much background noise. If you have questions that I don't answer, put them in the chat and I'll try to get to them at the end. And we are recording, so we're good to go. Okay, so elections. First thing, please, 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 please tell your clubs, tell everyone, regardless of what you hear, any election, if there is more than one Republican in the race, presidents and campaign activities chairman cannot endorse. I don't care if it's a municipal election, a general election, a primary election, a special election, what they're calling jungle primary, none of that. I don't care. It doesn't matter. TFRW says if you are a president or a campaign activities chairman, you cannot endorse in the race. Now, we all know that there are many ways for us to help our candidate of choice without endorsing. Like I like to say, oftentimes the whisper is stronger than the roar. So don't think that you don't have a voice, but we have to be very careful because we have found out that endorsements are things that pull clubs apart. So it's very important for us to follow our bylaws and not cross that line. So that's all I'm going to say about elections. Now let's go on to legislation. I do want to touch on that before we get to conventions. So you know that we've had a couple of priorities this year. One of them has been election integrity. And although they're still hearing, I think HB6 and HB6 today, they were doing the hearings on it. Last time I called down to the Capitol was a couple of hours ago and they were still talking. So they may be doing that long into the night, I'm not sure. But I was asked by the governor's office to continue making calls to everyone supporting HB6 and SB7 through the weekend. Even though they're taking testimony today, keep calling all the way through the weekend. I know it's Easter weekend and a lot of people aren't there, but you can record a message. Just say, hey, I'm so-and-so and I live in this district and I support HB6 and SB7 because election integrity is important, and whatever your specific thing is that's very important to you, use that to make it personal. Okay, so there's that and there's that. Okay, another one that we had was civics and education. So that's the one that kind of derailed today. It's been kind of a mess. Right now, we are supporting SB 1740 and HB 3211. We are looking for SB, the Senate bill 1740 is actually being authored by a Democrat, believe it or not. There are some out there that agree with us that civics is important. We are looking for a Republican to co-author this because we don't want to have just a Democrat authoring our bills. Although we love having bipartisan support, that's terrific. We would really like to have a Republican senator co-author. So if you know someone that you can convince to get on board with this, please, please, please call them and ask them to do so. Anyway, I'll leave that at that. You can call me later if you know of somebody that you think will get on board and help us. HB 3211 is the House bill that we have been following and that we like very much. This is I mean, top to bottom, this is exactly what we want. This was actually the governor sent this in and said, I like this. This is something I'm supporting. So it was filed by Keith Bell. I did not write down what county he was in, and I don't remember now. But since then, there's been some issues, and some people have jumped in. Republicans even have jumped in and pressured him to pull the bill. So I am asking everyone to please, please, please call in and say, hey, we support this. This is civics education. Their argument is that it opens the door for critical race theory. It absolutely does not. They're saying that because there was an article in a magazine that was completely off base, totally inaccurate. In fact, there's another article coming out in the Washington Post that's going to do an expose on the first article, saying that it was a hit piece done simply because they don't like iCivics, which is the group that we're working with on this legislation. It's a big long mess, but I've been talking to the governor's office. I've been talking to Representative Bell's office. I've been talking to pretty much anyone who will listen to me all afternoon, saying we need to get this moving again, because the other bills, the other civics bills out there simply do not have any teeth. And some of them are so watered down, they don't do anything. It's passing a bill that doesn't do anything. It's basically things that we already have in our school system now. So that's not helpful. We really need to strengthen our civics in our kids. They don't understand the difference between capitalism and socialism. And if we can't do something to make a difference here in Texas, then I don't know how the rest of the country stands a chance. So please, please, please support 3211 and ask your clubs to support 3211. And if you have any pull with anybody on the education committee, ask them to support 3211 and say, stop being ninnies, stand up, be a man, support the bill. Okay, so another one that we liked was not one of ours, but it's one that we followed because I mentioned it earlier in the session that we all, our legislative team thought was very important, was personal financial literacy in high school. This would be a one semester class. It is amazing how many young adults graduate from high school with no concept of personal financial literacy. They can't balance a checkbook. They don't understand how mortgages are calculated. They don't understand that buying a hamburger on a credit card is insane because you're going to end up paying $20 for your hamburger by the time you get it paid off, or $200 depending on how long it takes you to pay it off. So there's all sorts of things that they're just basic things that we need a personal financial literacy bill. Bill 437 was authored by Cody Harris in the House. It was a good bill, and it got pulled because some superintendents and fine arts lobby, which I hate saying that, that hurts my heart because I'm a big fine arts supporter myself, felt that it would take away from the fine arts electives. Well, it is a half an elective, but most kiddos have 7 to 8 electives by the time they're seniors in high school. So I think this is important. I think it's very important. We can't have young adults out there who can't balance a checkbook or understand how a mortgage works. This was the exact same bill that was filed last session. It got through the House with unanimous support and got blocked in the Senate. So I'm not sure what it's going to take. Jana?
Would you repeat the House bill or whatever the number is for that?
House
please?
Bill 437, Cody Harris.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Um, so I'm not sure what it's going to take. Republicans give financial literacy a lot of lip service, but I have not seen, honestly, where the rubber meets the road, I have not seen the support for it that we should. I'd like to see it resurrected, but if we can't, then I think we need to push it next session because it's important. Our children are important. They're our future, and they're falling victim to people who do understand credit cards. I mean, why do you think your college age students, your high school age students start getting credit card applications as soon, pre-approved applications as soon as they turn 18? It's because they're being taken advantage of, and it is infuriating to me. Okay, so the other thing with our education bills, specifically the civics one, is critical race theory. So I mentioned that these people that were trying to kill our civics bill was saying that it would open the door for critical race theory. That's baloney. It won't, because we are so far against it. I hope everyone on this call understands what critical race theory is or has at least heard about it. It's quicksand. As the Heritage Foundation, hold on, I have this. The Heritage Foundation actually defines it as toxic ideology that believes America is a fundamentally racist country. Our institutions are designed to maintain white supremacy. Unfortunately, this is being taught in our public schools and private schools, causing many young people to believe it. This has resulted in the support of Antifa and Black Lives Matter, both grounded in Marxism. Additionally, critical race theory originated as a way for the Marxists to sow discord between different groups, kind of the haves and the have-nots. Adding race into it it is the total opposite of what America is founded on. And it flies in the face of what Martin Luther King Jr. was trying to get people to understand, that we judge people on their character, not on their color. And this is absolutely the opposite of that. This is all about judge people by their color, by their race. And I can't believe that we would go that far backwards. Have you ever wondered why the BLM crowds get so angry when they hear all lives matter? It's because it doesn't buy into their mantra that only Black lives matter. So, that goes to tell you that this is not what America is. Critical race theory is so much worse than Common Core. Common Core dumbed down our kids. Critical race theory will brainwash our kids, for lack of a better word. And it's starting in kindergarten. And it's not that we're trying to keep it from coming here, it's already here. I'm astounded at how many people are not familiar with what it is. If you haven't heard of it, if you don't have children or your children are long out of school and you maybe haven't heard of it, just Google it. It's frightening. There are at least 3 bills that I know of that have been filed promoting critical race theory in Texas, 2 of them by Democrats and 1 of them by a Republican. I know, it's really exciting. So they don't always use the word critical race theory or the letter CRT, which it's most commonly known as. Look for equity, the word equity instead of equality, and social justice, diversity, and inclusion. Those are all kind of code words. So just be on the lookout for that nonsense. It's terrible. Okay. So that's all I'm going to go into for legislation, because I could talk about that all day, but I'm not going to. So let's talk about convention. Convention is fun. I'm so happy about convention. So the NFRW convention. Let's talk about that first because that's the one that's coming up first. September 23rd through 26th. The um, theme is launching leaders, which is kind of cool because it's in Florida. Cape Canaveral, they launch leaders. Um, and this year, it's all going to be about celebrating what we as Republican women have accomplished. So I imagine there will be some bits about last year celebrating our 100th anniversary of the vote and just coming through the pandemic and all the other fabulous things that Republican women have done. So that's all going to be um, brought up in many different ways at the National Convention. So it will be a lot of fun. We will be staying at the JW Marriott Orlando Grand Lakes. They have booked a lot of rooms that have double beds and rollout beds and all of that because they expect everyone to try to double up, quadruple up, pack them in like sardines. However, whatever it takes to get you there, go because it's worth it. It's a lot of fun to go to the national convention. One of the great things is that the fee for this convention is going to be the same as it was for Indianapolis. Still expensive, but the fee is not going up. So I was happy about that. And I know someone's going to ask me how much that was, and I didn't have time to look it up. It was 500, I think. Maybe that's too much. I know, no, that can't be right. I know I budget like $1,000 to go to convention. So it's probably more than that because I always spend more than I budgeted. But again, it's if you have other ladies in your room, then it becomes much more affordable and it's fun. You really get to bond with the women there, and they don't have to be people from your club. Even it can be from another club and get to know them. So that's fabulous. They are planning a separate trip to Cape Canaveral before the convention starts. They have a bunch of female astronauts that are going to speak to us there. They're trying to get them to come to the convention as well. But if not, there will be that separate trip that will be optional. We have one delegate and one alternate per club can go as representatives of your club. And in addition to that, we have delegates and alternates at large. I'm going to go into specific deadlines of that in a minute, but your club size really counts for awards, counts for recognitions and things like that. But our club size does not matter when it comes to your club delegates, because your club delegates are only going to be one and one. You get one alternate and one delegate, but you can have as many guests as you want, as many visitors as you want. Now, Texas will have a larger representation than a lot of the other states because our at-large delegates are based on our size. So we do end up with a larger voice because we're a larger state and we have a larger membership. And I am planning on taking back that award for the largest state in the Federation from California. They took it back from us last year and I want it back again. I think we're going to do this push me, pull me thing. But that's okay. Let's see. Texas will caucus. So I'm not sure what all the voting issues are going to be yet, what amendments are going to be up, that sort of thing. But we'll find out ahead of time and we will caucus beforehand so that we can all be on board, understand what the issues are, what the pros and cons are, and hopefully be in lockstep as much as we can when we go into vote. Oh, everybody loves our pins. We're famous for having the very best pins and scarves. And they are, one of the things that they're trying to work out right now is how they could have a pin party. So some sort of an activity where probably just a reception that's just come and trade your pins because you know how much we like to do our pins. And the pins that Kit is working on are really, really cute. You're going to like them. I think she's going to put a sample in the next newsletter, so you'll see that. I hope everybody saw your newsletter today because there was a sample of our scarf in there, and it is very pretty. She went with a a tan colored scarf because we haven't had one in a while. And I said, you know, we need something a little different because we do a lot of dark blues and reds and things. It's time to do something a little lighter. But the great thing about it that I love that makes it so special is she incorporated into the background the names of every club in our federation. So your club name will be written on the scarf in script, and it all just kind of looks swirly in the background. It's really pretty. Okay, so TFRW. Um, let's talk about TFRW. The early bird registration will be $190. It goes up to 225, I think, after that, and then it goes up more the closer you get to convention. We will for sure have registration open by May 1st. We're hoping to get it a little earlier, but for sure by May 1st. And we're hoping to have the room block open by mid-April, within the next couple of weeks. So that will be it. Oh, and the way we're going to do this. Okay, so this is different and you need to know. We're asking people to register now for a convention while you have the early bird price. And even if your clubs have not voted in their delegates and alternates, you can register as a guest or as a visitor, whatever it is, whatever. I guess it's a guest. And then once your clubs have their elections, they turn those names over to the TFRW office. And our office staff will go through and they will change all the names that have guests that are on the list, and they'll just change your status to an alternate or a delegate depending on what you were elected as. So that is going to be how we're going to do that this year. So hopefully that will cut down on the last minute changes if we can do it all early. And then of course we'll send out a list end of summer probably and say, this is who we have. If you're not on the list, let us know. Just to make sure that we've got every club correct and there's no problems and everybody's on the same page. Okay, there will be ads for our clubs in the program at a reduced rate for, I think it's 6 weeks. Every club will be getting a letter or an email from Mary Heffernan, the chairman of the convention, inviting you to put an ad in the program to advertise your club, or if you have a representative that you really like, or if you've got someone running for office that you want to put in there, or someone running for district director, something like that, and you just want to give her a shout out, you can do that. The quarter page ads, I think, start at $250, which is almost half of what they will cost for everybody else. And this is only a limited time offer. And for every club that takes advantage of this and buys an ad in this early bird period, you will have your name put in a drawing to, and it's not a raffle, I'm going right out there, it's not a raffle. You will have your name put in a drawing to get something special at convention. You're already buying something, you're buying an ad, so that's all you get. But we are going to draw, we'll pick a name and say, you get something else special with your ad. So it'll probably be some kind of special reception or VIP thing with one of the speakers that are there. So that's what we're thinking with that. Oh, we have videos. There is a promo video. If you're going to be at the board meeting next week, we will have a promo video that is fabulous. It is so, so neat. I'm so excited. I just got chill bumps the first time I saw it. That's going to come out. We'll show it at the board meeting, and then it'll be put out on the TFRW YouTube channel so that you all can download it onto your Facebook page or your club websites or whatever you want, and share it with everybody you know in your club. So that will be fun, just to advertise and say, try to build up the excitement for convention. And NFRW is working on a video as well, a promo video, but I have not seen that one yet. They were still doing tweaks to it and doing that last minute editing. But as soon as they get that done, they promised me that I will get it. Arkansas and I are the first ones to have meetings So we had asked if we could get it by our board meeting, so hopefully. Okay, so I was asked, oh my gosh, it's 7:25 already. I was asked about some of the dates and deadlines. So I want to go over those. If you saw our convention planning 101 email that went out early March, that had a lot of the dates in there. But if not, we'll probably have to send that out again because I know there's been some confusion on some of these. So returning clubs. If you are a returning club, you were a club in 21, you were returning because you were also a club in 2020, you must have been in good standing no later than 90 days before convention, which would be June 25th. So that means, have you paid your dues? Have you done all that? Then you can have representation. That's your club. Now, there was NFRW pushed, this is the thing that caused a lot of confusion. NFRW was pushing earlier that you had to, as a member, have paid your dues by March, no, March
Yes.
30th? Was it March 30th? Who said yes? Someone said yes. Okay, I think that's right, March 30th, in order to be a representative. So if you read their bylaws, there is a part that says you have to be in good standing by this date in order to be a representative. But there's something else in their bylaws that say that you have to be a member by a different date. It's like 60 days before, 90 days before. I don't remember what it was. So there's a conflict there. And thankfully, the parliamentarian for NFRW is our parliamentarian, Teresa Kosmowski. And so she's fixing all that for us. And they said they're, I guess they can't call it COVID grace, but they can call it some kind of grace. And you're not being held to having been a member by that date to be in good standing. So long as your club was a member, as long as your club was in existence, then I guess it counts. So NFRW, returning clubs must be in good standing by June 25th. New clubs, if you're a brand new club, you did not exist in 2020, you must be in good standing for at least 6 months. That's March. So, and I say March because you have to be approved by the April meeting. Is that right? Yes. So if you haven't been approved already, it's not going to happen. Because the clubs that are being approved, they know who they are. So each eligible club may send one delegate, one alternate. We talked about that. No limitations to visitors. Now, again, this is all NFRW dates. 90 days preceding the convention. This is June 25th again. This is your deadline that you're looking at for June 25th. We will send NFRW a list of every club that has paid their dues. They are in good standing. The total membership of each club, that is important because that's how they decide how many members at large we get, which category we go into for awards, basically how many people we have, everything. They base everything off of that number. So keep building up your membership. June 25th is that date for NFRW. We also have to send in the names, addresses, phone numbers, and emails for every club president. So if we don't have your president on file, then that's a problem. And the club presidents need to send the names of their delegates and alternates to NFRW by August 24th. So you must have your elections for August. You must decide who you're going to send. It's usually the president and either the first VP or the past president or whoever is very, very excited and can afford to go to NFRW. So you'll need to send that list to TFRW so we can send that to NFRW. Oh, actually, I take that back. When I talked to Eileen, she said that they're probably gonna do the same thing they did last year, which means their credential forms, you'll send stuff directly to them. You won't send it to us at all. So unless something drastically changes, your delegates and alternates will be credentialed and go directly to NFRW. Okay, so now TFRW. TFRW is October 13th through 16th at Kalahari, Round Rock, Texas, which we know is about 20 minutes north of Austin, so it's very convenient. I'm anticipating a really good turnout because it is very conveniently located. And it's a lot of fun for families. I was talking to Belinda Frisk the other day, and she said for spring break, she took her grandchildren to Kalahari, and she said they have the most wonderful time. So it's a great place if you want to take your family for just so they can play while you're doing the board stuff, and then you can play in the evenings or for a few days before, a few days after. I'm going to bring my grandchildren so they can go play with their mom while we're working, and then we can play together when we're done. Okay, so TFRW, returning clubs. They have to be in good standing 60 days prior to convention. That is August 14th. So if you're a returning club by August 14th, you have to have all your ducks in order, which we hope they're already in order, but just in case, by August 14th, that's your drop dead date. New clubs, they must be chartered 90 days before convention. So that is July 15th. They must be approved at the April meeting in order to be in good standing. And I think we have one club that's going to be chartered at this meeting, but they already know who they are. Okay, so, or not chartered, but be approved, and they'll have their charter in time. Okay, so the other ones, okay, so now delegates and alternates, that will be determined for TFRW by August 14th. August 14th is your drop dead date. So keep building up your membership. For TFRW, you get one alternate and one delegate for every 10 members you have, plus an additional one for 6 and over. So if you have 56, then you get 6 delegates and 6 alternates. Talked about that. Okay, so at the TFRW convention, we will elect officers, district directors, and then the other board members are, of course, appointed by the new president, the deputy presidents, and the chairman. But the current officers and the current district directors and former TFRW presidents all get delegate at large positions. Now, we also have additional at large positions. So if you have members that really, really, really want to go, and they're really, really, really active, and if you can make a case for it, send them to me, and I'll start a list and for any extra spots that we have. And I'm hoping we're going to have a lot of spots because we're trying to really build up our membership this year. We shall see what happens. So, okay, again, just like NFRW, there's no limitations on visitors and guests. I encourage everyone to go if you possibly can, even if you're not a delegate or alternate. Most of our alternates do get moved up to delegate at some point because something always happens. Someone gets sick, someone has to go home early. It always happens. Now, I have had the question, if a delegate leaves and an alternate fills their place, and that delegate comes back, can they take their delegate spot back? No. Once an alternate has filled your space is gone. You can always come back and be a guest. You can still participate because you were a delegate before you got kicked out. But you paid for convention, you can be there, but you can't vote anymore. You don't get your voting rights back. Club presidents must submit their delegate list and alternate list no later than 30 days prior to convention. That is Monday, September 13th. We would love it if you could do that earlier, because the earlier you do it, the less frantic it is and the less chance there is of making mistakes. Remember, we've got a very small office staff and a very large state and a lot of clubs all needing things at the same time. So any grace you can give us by getting that done early, we would appreciate it. Registered alternates will be called up to serve as delegates in the order in which they are submitted. So delegates, they're all in the same status. You don't get numbered, but alternates are numbered. So if you have, say you're a large club and you have 70 members, and you're going to have 70 delegates and 70 alternates. On your alternate list, you can just list them. It doesn't matter what order they're in. But on your alternate list, they have to be listed in order of election. So if you do a regular election and so Susie Q gets more points than anybody else, she should be alternate number 1 because she'll be the first one to be moved up. Hotel reservations must be booked by September 13th to receive our block rates. Cancellations will incur a fee. There were some things in the contract that we could not get out of. One of them is that when you book your reservation, you have to pay for 1 night in advance. If you cancel, I believe it's 72 hours before, you get all your money back minus, I think, $25 processing. If it's less than 72 hours, you lose your deposit altogether, which is pretty stinky, but that's what it is. So the hotel link will be put in the newsletter. If we get it early, then we'll send out a special blast with that information so you can get right on that, and all of the very specific rules that the hotel has, because we don't want there to be any misunderstandings. Delegates from each senatorial district shall caucus to elect their district director to represent their district on the TFRW board of directors. The district director must belong to a club in that district. I know that seems like it's common sense, but we get that question every single year. So awards. Okay, so the watch your dates. The NFRW Achievement Award and the Caring for America Award are due on June 1st, but pretty much everything else is due August 1st. We have sent the list out several times in the newsletter that shows when everything is, but it's also on the website. The only one that's not on the website is the Campaign Activities Award form, and it's on the NFRW website. You can go to that very easily and get all of the information. You can download it right from there. The 10 Outstanding, that's always probably our gala that we have. It's the 10 Outstanding Award. It's always such a special event. We will be nominating 10 women across the state to be our 10 Outstanding again this year. So start thinking now of who you want to nominate. Each club can nominate somebody, but it must be a member of their club. And that nominee cannot have been awarded previously. They could have been nominated previously, but they can't be awarded previously. And current elected officers are not eligible. So we talked about convention attire. It's going to be wonderful. And our theme, as you know, is Come Dazzle with Us, because I think we've told you before that a dazzle, besides being something sparkly and fun like we are, is a group of zebras, which I thought was particularly appropriate considering we will be at Kalahari. So with that, let's take a quick peek at our chat and see if I have missed anything. Competition breeds success. Yes, it does. Okay, what is the civics bill number? I think I already did that. The civics bill number. The ones that we like are Senate Bill 1740 and House Bill 3211. So, is there, did I miss anything? All right, excellent. Okay, does anybody else, if you have a question, you can unmute yourself and ask because we have a few minutes left. I did my speed talking thing, so if there's anything anybody wants to know that I didn't cover, now's your time. It's very quiet.
Question.
Yes, Tina.
It goes all the way back to the very beginning
Okay.
of your about endorsing candidates and elections.
Yes.
I have only club presidents and campaign activity chairs cannot.
Correct.
What if you have, I have a very bad situation in Fort Bend County right now where our Republican County chairwoman has been endorsing Democrat candidates in school board election and city council elections. She was a member of my club, Fort Bend Republican Women. My club president told her, warned her to stop. Actually, the only Republican in both the Fort Bend ISD and city council races is one woman in Fort Bend Republican Women's Club. She's an Asian American, very active in the Texas Asian Republican Club, solid Republican record, and our county chairman woman will not endorse her. So our club members talked to her and said, you can't do this. You shouldn't be endorsing anyone in any race.
Right.
So she promptly changed her membership to Republican Women's Club of Katy. So
because that makes a difference.
Yeah. Republican Women's Club of Katy, they're not in my district. They're in District 18. And I did warn the club president of what the county chairman is doing. This has already gone all the way up to the RPT. She's been asked to resign. She won't. So what do we do about this? She's wreaking havoc on 2 Republican women's clubs. She's just considered a member, but I feel like we need to start addressing, I know it's been talked about, we really do need to start addressing issues about this, that if you're going to be part of the Republican Party or Republican Women's Club or any Republican organization, you don't go siding with the Democrats and literally endorsing them and working for them.
Okay, so we do have
to address this.
No, we do. And it's becoming a bigger problem all the time. We have a code of conduct that was put out by the National Federation, and every state is required to use this code of conduct. And I think this type of thing absolutely falls right in there. And there's very specific steps that we can take. The bottom line is they get kicked out of the organization. I mean, it's like you do this, 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 and this. It sounds like you've done a lot of that already. Give me a call later and we'll talk about it. But
Okay.
it may be that she just needs to be told, I'm sorry, but you're not following our bylaws. And if you don't feel comfortable following our bylaws, then this isn't the organization for you.
Okay, we'll talk.
Okay. I'm sorry. Does somebody else have a question? Deb.
Hey, Glennis, I think you heard about our project down here for the border agents. What we're doing, and it's not just my club, it's any Republican woman that wants to participate in any club. We did it in 2019. What we do is we collect hand sanitizer and we give it directly to the border union down there. Hand it to them and they distribute it down in the Rio Grande Valley. And they distribute it all up and down the border, the 800 miles all the way up to Arizona. The guys out in the bush everywhere. We collect hand sanitizer because, you know, they come in direct physical contact with, and now it's the COVID, you know, before it was just kinds of diseases, but now it's COVID. And as I know that you guys know that we've lost 2 or 3 agents already over by Del Rio to COVID. So they ask, actually, we have a member that lives down in Edinburgh, and she asked them, what do you guys need? And they said hand sanitizer. So we collect hand sanitizer, gloves, bug repellent for the guys out in the bush, wound wash, you know, that kind of thing. And how we're doing it, if when we were at our briefing down there in 2019, one of the things that really struck me that the agent told us, he said, we don't get a lot of support from the community. You know, they kind of look at them like they're traitors. And I thought that was extremely sad.
Yeah.
So if anyone, any club, anyone, if, you know, your Sunday school class, I don't care. Anybody who lives in Texas can, you know, contribute. Put it in a box, put it in a big old, cardboard box, write your club name on there, write your county. And I'd like to, when we take all of this down there, it can be a little box, it can be a big box, any box. We'll take it, we'll set it up, we'll take a video, and that way these guys can see that, yes, they are supported by a whole lot of counties in Texas. And I think that would really mean a lot to them right now because life is kind of tough for them. So as far as reporting, we can report it for you. I talked to Cindy Payne, she's on our committee. Just said what you can do if you want us to report, you know, gather it all up. One person can do like an in-kind donation, give it to us. We can report it, or you can report it. You know, either way, just as long as it gets reported.
Right.
You know, you don't have to do an in-kind donation or a form for, you know, a bottle of hand sanitizer. Your Caring for America person or your club president could collect it all and do it. You know, according to Cindy, I thought that was the best plan. But it's just important, you know, that we keep legitimate on that. But to review, we need hand sanitizer, gloves, spray, sunscreen. I mean, starting in late April, these guys need sunscreen really bad. That kind of hygiene items, it's very simple. This is like the simplest project ever, but it's probably one of the most important right now. And oh, by the way, the illegals, you know, they get all kinds of money. The guys do not for that kind of need. They don't get a lot of money.
Okay,
So
I have a couple of questions.
Ma'am.
First one, I understand that you have another delivery at the end of April.
we are making our first delivery end of April.
Okay.
We are going to have an ongoing need. So we'll, if the donations come in after our first, you know, we will keep taking it down there.
Okay. But you don't have any more scheduled yet.
Nah, first delivery would be end of April.
Okay.
And then we'll probably go down, depending on how much we get, we'll just keep taking it down there.
Okay. And how would you like clubs to contact you or deliver items to you? What would be the best method for that?
You're having your board meeting next week. I've got, you know, a couple of friends up there that'll probably be going. I'll contact them, coordinate with them. They can receive it. Sylvia Gartner is our district director and will be there. And she doesn't know it, but she's going to collect. She just doesn't know it. If she's on the call right now, she's probably going, what? But I'd be glad to come up there and get it as well. It's no problem. We need it badly.
And we'll have our last board meeting will be in July.
Perfect.
So we could actually have some time to get the word out and say, hey, everybody bring stuff in July too.
Absolutely. Okay. I mean, and again, this is a great Caring for America project. It couldn't be better.
Okay. Well, I don't know how much we'll be able to get together in just a few days, but we'll try. And certainly by July, we'll have something for you.
Okay. Email is Deb, D-E-B, M as in Mary, Wall, W-A-L-L @gmail.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer, you had a question. Jennifer, you have to unmute yourself.
I'm
There you
sorry. My speaker's very muffled. Can you understand me?
Yes.
Okay. I think what Deb is doing is awesome. We have contacted the Border Patrol here in El Paso, and we're going to be having a meeting with them soon to see what we can do to support the TAN, is what we're calling it. But we would love to send you some donations. If we send the donations, you can purchase the items for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I've got a member up by El Paso. Her name is Aaliyah Uresti, and I can get you her information and she can coordinate with you.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you.
And thank you so much. We do appreciate it, and we'll make sure that the guys get it. And again, there is no middleman. We hand it to the guys, and our member actually works at the airport in Edinburgh, and she watches the guys put the stuff on the helicopter to take out to the bush. So it's a great system. And these are
Perfect.
union, because you know it's illegal to hand it right to the guys like at the checkpoint. You can't do that.
Okay, terrific. Are there any other questions? We have time for like one more if there is one. I'm trying to see everybody. Okay. Well, in that case, thank you all so much. Thank you, Deb. That was a great project for all of us. And we are going to, I'll actually have Erica send a little something out to all the board members to say, hey, if you're coming up here anyway, bring some hand sanitizer. Oh, quick question. Do you care if it's liquid or wipes, or does it matter?
Thing. They really like those individual wipies things, you know, or you can do it in a packet. The individual, that's great.
Okay,
You know, basically anything
they'll
that
take anything.
they love it.
Okay,
Yeah.
terrific.
All right.
All righty. That's excellent. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your spending your Thursday evening with me. And we will talk again next month. First Thursday, I don't know what day that is, but it's first Thursday of the month, 7 o'clock. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Glennis.
You're welcome. Good seeing you.